I'm Miranda.
And I'm April.
And this is the True Crime Co.
Podcast about everything macabre and mysterious.
So today's case takes us to Queens, New York, where we're going to be talking about the crime which influenced the newspaper industry's most infamous headlines: Headless Body and Topless Bar. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Topless bar, headless body. I got it.
The headline was written by Vincent Musetto for the New York Post. Now, a couple years back, Vincent did pass away at the age of 74. So, he was the lead writer for a long time. All right, so down to the goods. The case begins.
The goods.
A little scene setting, if you will.
Paint the picture for us,
I'm going to
please.
try. It's a fun picture to paint. The night of April 13th and the morning of April 14th, 1983. That's when our story takes place. So, on the night of April 13th, Charles Dingle, who was 23 at the time, was cut loose.
Charles Dingle.
Yeah, it is. The last name makes so much sense when you get a little further. It's like a personality trait. No offense to anybody else who has that last name. Just him. So, anyways, Charles was kicking it at a topless club in Queens called Herb's Bar.
Are you trying to hip it up? He was kicking it at a bar in 1984.
Is that it's 83, first off? Is that not 80s slang?
You're gonna get murdered yourself. Just move on, Miss Mid 1900s.
Charles was drinking large quantities of alcohol and doing copious amounts of cocaine, if you will.
Cocaine.
And I put in my notes, as one would in a nightclub in the 80s.
So, I wouldn't really know about that because I was 3.
Oh, you weren't clubbing it up at 3?
No, backwoods town, maybe. Hey.
So Charles and the club owner, Herbert Cummings, who was 51, got into an argument.
The nightclub owner's name was Herbert Cummings.
Yes.
Is that like a stage name?
I don't know. I also said, wonder what that's about. Underneath that they got into an argument.
I would like to be a fly on that wall.
And then I speculated that maybe they were arguing because Charles wouldn't leave and it was closing time. During this argument, Charles produced a handgun and shot Cummings in the head, killing him. Charles then took 4 women hostage. Now, the details are a little skewed. I know he took 4 of them, but they only really talk about 2. One is the topless dancer. The other is the female bartender. I assume that it was other topless dancers were the other 2 girls, but I'm not sure.
So why didn't everybody run out when the gun went off and he shot the dude in the head?
That's why I speculated that it might be closing time and that Charles was refusing to leave, and that might have been what the argument was about. Because he only took 4 hostages, and police weren't made aware of the situation until the morning of April 14th. So,
I mean, was it not a good bar?
I don't know. They close. Topless bars close too.
No, I'm not a bar hopper by any means, and I don't think I've ever closed down a bar, but isn't there usually more than one person there at the close?
Yeah. Sounds like there was 5 people there at
Oh,
close.
oh, oh.
Anyways, this is my notes say throughout the next few hours, Charles was not a vibe.
What? He was not a what?
A vibe.
What do you mean? It's not a vibe. Speak English to me.
He's not a vibe. Like,
What does that mean?
not happy good times. We're not kicking it anymore. This is not good.
You know, I did look up how much time cocaine is in your system or is affecting you,
Uh,
and it says like 20 minutes.
he must have did a lot of cocaine.
He must have like repeatedly did this cocaine if he's going to blame his actions on the cocaine and drinking.
Oh, he never blamed the cocaine or the alcohol.
Well, okay. Well, that's going for him.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay, okay.
So he was not the vibe. And
English! English!
I'm trying not to laugh because this part's very serious.
Serious.
Charles raped one of the topless dancers, possibly more than once. There was conflicting stories, so I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm just going to say could have been once, could have been more than once. I'm not sure. He then robbed all 4 women. And at this point, while going through the bartender's purse, he discovered a business card that identified her as a mortician. So,
Okay. What is
Sorry?
the relevance of her being a mortician? What is it? What do they call that? Their night.
Moonlight.
Oh, yeah, they're moonlighting as a
Moonlight as a
bartender. Mhm.
So the relevance is that he demanded her to take the bullet out of Cummings' head. The reason for this is because he did not want the police to be able to connect his gun to the bullet in Cummings' head.
I mean, do morticians usually remove objects from people? I thought they embalmed people and then made them up for the funeral.
That's what I
Not
was
for,
going to say. Because I always get them confused with coroners who do the actual.
how is that? Wait, how do you get that confused?
I don't know. They both work with freaking dead bodies.
Yeah, but it's 2 different things that they're doing.
I'm
It's not like
okay.
the coroner is sitting there embalming somebody. They sit there and take the stuff out, look at the
I
stuff.
actually think those are medical examiners. So I think we're all wrong here.
You know what? You're lucky that you're so far away from me.
Just racking up the points. So the bartender was not able to get the bullet out.
Because he's a mortician.
Well, also I said maybe because it's a freaking strip club and not a mortuary.
Yeah, I mean, what would you use? Oh, I know what they could use. I don't know exactly what's in a
Not
bar.
the lemon tongs, bro.
Why not? They're tiny.
They're not.
They're tiny.
They're wide and fat.
What kind of gun did he use?
I don't know. A handgun, I'm assuming.
It didn't say what type of handgun.
No. It
Like a
just said
caliber?
a gun. Actually, it didn't even say a gun. It just said that it shot him in the head.
I'm sure he didn't use his fingers.
But I'm pretty sure that it was a handgun. Based on the rest of the story that we're about to hear.
Oh, sorry, I got stuck on the mortician pulling the bullet out of the head, even though it's probably. I mean, would it still be in the head?
I mean, it could still be in the head if you use like a 22.
Oh, so now you know a caliber of a gun. Good job. Okay, what's the rest of the story?
I know a couple. Okay, so she can't get the bullet out. At this point, Dingle, deciding that this is the next best option, demands that the bartender cut Cummings' head off.
Okay.
Next best option. Plan B.
Okay, so again, what are they going to cut his head off with? Exactly.
Because it's a freaking bar.
Yeah, but what are they going to use to cut his head off? I mean,
I don't
obviously
know.
she used something, but
Well, they
what?
have knives to cut fruit slices, lemon slices.
And how big are those knives?
Well, it depends. Because when I worked at Chili's a long time ago, they had a decent sized knife. Oh, actually, no. Sometimes we just use the steak knives to cut the lemons. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of knife a bartender uses to cut lemons in a topless bar.
Well, it was the 80s. Who knows what type of or city, not city, it was in Manhattan, right?
It was in Queens, actually.
Queens. Okay. So, I mean, what was Queens like in the 1980s? Maybe they had a machete. I don't know.
I don't know what Queens was like in the 1980s because I was born almost over a full decade later. Okay.
Well, I was 3. So,
I was born 12 years after this incident happened.
mhm.
All I know is the cheesy 80s movies my dad made me watch. And he
You know
didn't
what?
ever make me watch ones with topless bars.
And you know what? Not all of the 80s movies that we all made you watch was cheesy.
Really are.
No, they're not.
anyways. So he's like, can't take the bullet out. Excuse me. Might as well
I
just,
see why you're so bored about this.
I'm tired. Might as well just cut the head off, right?
Okay. I mean, trying to get away with it. There's no possibility of a witness or
Well, at this point, I think he was still playing around with the idea of killing the 4 hostages because of what I'm about to say in a second. You just keep jumping the gun here.
I'm sorry, I'm being talkative.
So, my next segment of my notes literally says, let's just take a minute to talk about how badass this bartender is. Because, first off, she's a mortician, which is cool. Okay.
Oh yeah, you have to have you have to have something special about you to be a mortician. You really
Super
do.
already.
Mhm.
Secondly, reports say that during the time he was making her chop this head off, she stayed calm, cool, and collected and talked him out of killing her and the 3 other hostages.
Yeah, she is badass. I'm down with that. Wait, here's a question. I really am more curious about this. Is when he was busy um assaulting the other people, was there no opening to, I don't know, render him unconscious? Or
I mean,
because I
I
mean
don't know.
he was high, he was drunk, he had a gun, yes, but is he going to be aware enough to go against 4 or 3 other people?
So riddle me this. Okay.
Okay, Joker,
You
what's up?
work you work in customer service, okay?
Thank you. Okay.
So if you're at the office, okay, and this person comes in and is like getting into it with your boss and then shoots your boss in the head, are you gonna be like, what do you think you're gonna be? Because I would be like,
Well, look, here's my
oh,
thing. If
I
he's
don't know.
if he's there, or that person, maybe he, she, whatever, is there, and they shoot my boss, and then they think they're going to come after me. I mean, I'm dead either way.
Well,
So,
maybe these topless dancers and the bartender didn't have that same resolve of instant death that you have.
well, I mean, if you think about, I mean, if they're after, I mean, there's going to be a moment where they can't see somebody, and hopefully somebody jumps in before they get to me. But I mean, am I just supposed to sit there and take it?
I mean, have you ever been to a strip club?
I've driven by them. I've known some strippers.
I've actually never been in one either, but from the movies, it just seems like a big open area. We don't know. Maybe he blocked the entrance, or maybe he was like, if you move, I'll shoot you and her. And I mean, he just shot this man in the face.
Was this like premeditated at all?
No,
Seems a little funky how it brought a gun.
I don't think there.
I mean,
I don't think there's forethought in this crime at all.
okay. Anyway, we're digressing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Once Cummings had been effectively decapitated, Dingle put his severed head, in a box
Thank you.
labeled "Fine Wear."
I was like, where was Dingo putting his own head? I was like, where's the-
He put the I said Cummings.
Yeah, after you said Dingo put his head, and then you said Cummings.
Oh my gosh. So he put Cummings' severed head in a box labeled "Fine Wares."
Okay.
After hours of putting these women through collective trauma, Dingle decided it was time to go. He's like, gotta get out of here. Okay.
Gotta go. Gotta hit the road. Gotta get out of here.
Gotta hit the road.
Inside joke.
So he set 2 of the hostages free, but kept the other 2.
Oh, was it the bartender that he kept, or did he set her free?
There was I didn't see any articles that say which one, but I do believe he probably took his 2 favorites, which would have been the bartender and the topless dancer that he assaulted. That would be my assumption.
Okay.
Anyways, so he loads up his car with the severed head in a box, the 2 women that he's keeping hostage, and he attempts to flee. But his car doesn't start. So logically, with 2 hostages and a severed head, his next decision is to order a cab.
What else do you do in Queens, New York? You order a
Well,
cab.
I think just don't kill people, first off.
Just think if it was done now, somebody would be ordering an Uber or a Lyft.
That's true. Let me get my Uber.
They were like, the driver coming up, but what's in the box? Fine wares.
Fine wares.
Read the box, dude. Fine wares.
Read this bloody sopping wet box that says fine wares. What do you think it is?
Wine.
So,
Wine bottles.
when the cab arrives, Dingle locked the driver in the back of the bar and stole the cab.
So he put this poor taxi driver in the back of the strip club with the other 2 people and the headless body.
Okay. The other 2 people, I can't confirm because it says he let them go. So I don't know if he let them leave or if he just let them live or what.
I mean, it's a win-win either way on that one.
Sure, was locked in the back of the bar. He for sure was. So,
but it's not confirmed that he was with the dead body.
No, so I don't know if the cab driver saw the dead body, but it is confirmed that there was a headless body in the bar where Dingle left it. So he steals the cab and loads up his party again, the 2 hostages, the head in the box, and then they go on a drive. And they drive out to Washington Heights, which is a neighborhood in Manhattan. And when he gets there, he parks the car and takes a little nap. Falls asleep.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
Hey, we're on the run, but let's take a nap.
He takes a little nap. I guess he thought Manhattan was far enough away from Queens. I don't know geography very well, but I don't feel like that was far enough away to take a nap. With 2 hostages.
Logistically speaking, I don't know where Washington Heights is. I mean, I can look on a map to see where Queens is. But, I mean, I've been to New York. I've been on the subway. With you.
Logistically speaking, he should have dropped his 2 hostages off before pulling over. So that way he could take a nappy nap without anybody knowing where he was. Okay? That's just my thought process. So anyways,
Maybe I guess the cocaine and the drinking finally caught up with him. And the adrenaline. I guess his adrenaline just dove.
I mean, yeah, and this is morning by now. Like the sun is coming up morning, so he probably was real tired after his extravagant night of partying.
He's real tired.
He's real tired. So, anyways, while Dingle's taking his little snooze, the two hostages escape. Imagine that. And
what?
They go and tell the police. Now, I think this might be the most important thing to remember from this entire. Do what?
So they called the police.
Yes.
Probably from a payphone.
No, I think they found a traffic cop.
Oh, that's good.
So this is probably the most important thing to note for the remainder of the story, okay? Police, based on the women's retelling, were able to find the cab with Dingle, the severed head in a box, a gun, and a bullet in the head of the box that matched the gun. That didn't sound right, but you know what I meant.
So, I mean, pretty much open and closed.
Literally sleeping in the car with all the evidence, right?
Okay.
He's arrested.
Obviously. I would hope so.
Surprise! Surprise Dingle. He's arrested, charged, and eventually convicted of murder, kidnapping, rape, and robbery. One thing that bothers me is that he wasn't charged with desecrating the remains. I don't know.
Well, maybe they didn't do that because he actually made the bartender do the desecration.
Yeah, but he still did it.
I mean, he ordered the desecration.
Yeah, the intent.
But the hero here was obviously the women.
Right.
They're the victims, yet they're the heroes, heroines, however you want to. I'm not going to say heroine because you know why.
Okay.
So the bartender and the women in this story, they were definitely quite got some gumption for sure.
Yeah. I still think he should have been charged with desecrating the remains.
Oh, well, yeah, but I think they had him dead to rights on all the other stuff, so.
Yeah, I guess that could have been a little hairy to stick to.
Yeah. I mean, now, we would probably be able to find about 6 other felonies that he probably did other than, what do they call that? Capital murder?
Yes.
So capital murder, rape, assault, kidnapping, desecration, robbery, of course.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like kidnapping isn't big enough of a charge for holding 4 women hostage. I hope it was like 4 counts of kidnapping. That's what I'm really hoping.
Wait, then you have like the bartender and 3 other women, and then he kidnapped the taxi driver by locking him in the.
That's 5.
That's 5. Yeah.
That's 5. Yeah. Oh, and grand theft.
Oh yeah, Grand Theft Auto. Aha. And could you kind of do vagrancy because he parked and he slept in the vehicle? Probably on a public road.
That's a misdemeanor.
Just
tack it all on there.
Yes, yeah. The more the merrier, I'd say.
So, anyways, he is charged with all these things. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, just the murder, kidnapping, rape, and robbery. Not all the things we just listed off.
Ooh, and I'm proud of you to run through that without messing up.
So, Dingle was sentenced to 25 years to life, with the possibility of parole after the initial 25 years. So, Dingle has had, I don't know anything past 2012. Let me just be frank and honest. So all the information that I have stops at 2012 because that's when the last article I read was dated for. So he had 3 parole hearings, 1 in 2008, 1 in 2010, and 1 in 2012. He was denied for parole all 3 of those times. And in 2012, a 3-person parole board decided, due to a history of violence both inside and outside of prison, it was not safe to release Charles Dingle from custody. So I also couldn't find any background on him before April 13th, 1983. But, that parole decision heavily implied that he had had several run-ins with the law prior to being arrested for murder. So I do know that his stint in prison wasn't a peaceful one either, because
What do you mean?
since 1984, so that's the year he went to prison, 1984, to the time of his parole hearing, he had repeatedly assaulted corrections staff and attempted to conceal deadly weapons, such as shanks. And the most recent event in relation to the 2012 hearing had actually occurred in 2011. So not really that far away, right?
It's been a decade.
2011 to 2012?
Oh, no, from then to now. That's a decade.
I said in relation to the 2012 parole hearing.
I mean, obviously I wasn't paying attention.
Obviously. Anyways, aside from assaulting prison staff and possibly other inmates, Dingle has also been working on law studies.
Oh, so he's been furthering his education. I mean,
Yes,
that's a good use of time.
he's been furthering his education.
I mean, it really is a good use of time. I mean, he's got, I assume, some free time in prison.
Well, I don't think he'll ever get out to use it.
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily need to be out to use it. I mean, he could help people on the inside who need legal ease.
I wouldn't trust him with my case if I was a prisoner in the Buffalo State Correction Facility. Just so you know, in case anyone in the prison with him is listening, don't use him, because he's not really bringing it. He's not a vibe. He's not bringing it home.
Okay. So he got his law something. Was it a certificate?
He did get some certificates. I think he has multiple, but I can't remember what they're for. But they're for law studies.
Okay.
No diploma. Just saying.
Okay. So what did he do with these? What's the significance of these?
Well, glad you asked.
Oh,
He decided to use his extensive knowledge of law to plead his innocence and fight for his freedom, because, and this gets me every time, he claims that he was convicted through testimony of unreliable witnesses, and in large part due to the sensationalization. Is that a word?
We're gonna go with it.
Okay.
I would try to give you the word, but I'm probably gonna glitch again. But sensationalism.
Yeah, that. So he says that the media sensationalized his case, which also helped with the guilty conviction. He does not credit.
It was sensational. I mean, you never hear of a headless body in a topless bar.
I mean, the headline was gold.
It was. Do I need to switch back to that?
No. So yeah, that's Charles Dingle. He wreaked havoc on Queens and drove to Manhattan for a little nap, and then got arrested in a car with all of the evidence, including the car. But he thinks that he can pledge his innocence. And basically, he's demonizing the women that he kidnapped and assaulted and terrorized by calling them unreliable due to the fact that they worked at a topless bar.
And not to mention that he assaulted one of them.
I
Does that
did.
make them... Really?
Yes.
Miscorrecting me?
Well, if you just pay attention, you wouldn't hear.
I was looking up, I was trying to see, I was Googling, Mr. Google was telling me what the guy was up to, if he was up to something, or if he was still in prison, which it looks like he is still in prison.
They probably were like, no, we will not give you another parole board hearing. No, you're not innocent. No, our witnesses are not unreliable. But also his claim to innocence just completely negates the fact that he was found in the stolen car with all the other evidence.
Supposedly found in the car with all the evidence.
Literal pictures. I don't know. Like, and guess what? If he hadn't committed the crime, then the media wouldn't have been able to sensationalize it. I hope that's a word.
But you know what? I think you're being sensational.
Maybe we can get some more followers.
Oh, yeah. No, I hope so. I hope that this is not complete and total trash for them, and they actually... What? Why are you looking surprised? You're like, what?
Because I think it's fun.
Oh, I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's what matters. Even if we only have mommy watching us for the rest of time.
And not even your sister, just your mom.
Just my mom. Even if just my mom watches us.
My mom's not even watching us, so.
So, do we have any updates? Videos are available on our YouTube channel.
For the people who like and subscribe, thanks.
Yes, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all?
Well, so what did you think of the story?
I just thought it was insane. I think it's insane that this man has the audacity to claim his innocence based on unreliable witnesses.
I mean, that was pretty, shall I say, ballsy?
Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry if that's offensive, but it was ballsy.
Probably don't do cocaine in a nightclub.
If you learn anything from this, don't do the cocaine at a bar.
I really do think that he thought he was going to get away with it. And to be fair, it was the 80s, so if he had just done a few things differently, he might could have.
Like what? Don't go to the bar. Don't go to the bar. Don't shoot Mr. Cummings in the head. Don't have the nice hero bartender decapitate the dude.
First off, I said if he had made different choices, he could have got away with it. You're just saying that he shouldn't have did the crime at all. I'm saying if he had, like, killed everybody or, like, took the head and left all the hostages or maybe, like, not pulled over for a little nap, that really bothers me.
I'm thinking that he would have still got caught for the nappy nap.
Yeah.
Even without a nappy nap, he was still out. But you're like, well, if you're going to do the crime, you need to cover it up. Okay? You need to just kill everybody and then catch the place on fire.
If you're going to make this woman cut this man's head off, at least do your due diligence to not get connected to this head and this bullet. You know what I'm saying? At least do your due diligence. Because
I don't think anybody knows what you're saying.
Why?
I mean, not that you're encouraging anybody to commit a crime or murder.
No, I'm saying, if you're going to commit a crime, don't be stupid.
How about this? Don't be stupid and commit a crime in general.
That's fair, too.
Jeez. But if you're going to do it, you need to do it and make sure you don't get caught. Per Miranda, not me. Per Miranda.
I'm just saying, you put those girls through all of it. I'm glad he got caught. And I'm glad that the parole board was like, no, stupid, we caught you with everything. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And just because a woman is a topless dancer does not mean she's unreliable.
That's
or
right. I mean,
uneducated.
she could be putting herself through school.
That's right. And
Just because she's not ashamed of her body doesn't
she's
mean that she was unreliable.
she's making way more money than both of us. Period.
Hands down.
Definitely. So I
But to
respect
be
her.
fair, that's probably why he robbed them.
Oh yeah. I wonder what his job was before this. Did they drug test in the 80s?
No, I was 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking you like you personally lived through it.
I mean, I did, technically.
Did
But
you have to
not
get
not
drug
the
tested for your
situation.
job in
Well, yeah, I did.
1983?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, they drug tested children. Totally.
We should have brought your mom on so she could answer our 80s questions.
We could bring Mike on,
He was not that old.
but he was still more cognitive than a 3-year-old.
Because he was like, what, 12?
He was 10, actually.
Hey, 10-year-old, sir. What was it like in strip clubs in the 80s?
And you enlighten us
He
about
didn't know the answer.
I don't think my mother would have been in a strip club either. I don't think they had those in that part of town.
Oh,
It was a mountain town.
I thought she worked at a bar.
Not in that area. When I was 3, where we lived, she did not work at a bar. She worked at the Golden Arches.
When did she work at the bar?
When she moved.
Well, I think that's all the time we have today.
Man, that one was just, I guess I shouldn't have commented so much while you were telling the story.
Maybe. We got really off base this episode.
But, a lot of it is just, we're not professionals. This is very amateurish.
I was going to say because we're dumb.
Listen.
I like yours better. It's nicer.
Yeah, that's what I was
For
going for. I
amateurs.
wasn't trying to call myself a dummy. I mean, I am a dummy, but whatever. Jeez Louise. Okay, so are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Are you done? Should we have a sign off?
We do. It's
Bye!
bye.